The courtroom was packed. Every seat filled, cameras quietly humming, reporters scribbling notes. All eyes were fixed on one person, a girl, no older than 17, standing at the witness stand. Her hands trembled as she held onto the edge, her head lowered, lips barely moving. The judge leaned forward, his voice cutting through the silence like a blade. "You need to speak up." The room held its breath. What could be so important that brought the entire town to this trial? Who was this girl, and why did her silence hold so much weight? Moments earlier, the defense attorney had painted her as confused, possibly unreliable. But the prosecution believed she held the key to unlocking the truth behind a case that had shaken the community. Her name was Sana, a quiet girl from a quiet family. No one had expected her to be the one dragged into the middle of this storm. But what she had seen, what she knew, was something no one else had dared to speak about. And now, with the judge watching, the lawyers waiting, and the whole courtroom teetering on the edge, her words could change everything. A moment passed. Then, two. Finally, she lifted her face, eyes wet, voice barely louder than a breath. But what she said next made the entire courtroom freeze. A single sentence whispered so softly, yet carrying a weight that felt like it shook the walls. The judge's gavel hung in midair. The lawyers stopped moving. Even the audience forgot to blink. You could hear a pin drop. What did she say? Why did it stun everyone into silence? What secret had been hiding in plain sight this whole time? That whisper changed everything. And in the next part of the story, you'll understand why Sana's voice, though soft, was the one they all should have listened to from the start. The courtroom remained frozen, caught in the echo of Sana's quiet words. The judge slowly lowered his gavel, eyes narrowing as he studied her face. It wasn't just what she said. No anger, no drama, just truth. Pure, raw truth. And that truth had landed like a thunderclap in a room full of doubt. The prosecutor leaned forward, lips parted, unsure whether to speak or let the silence carry the weight. Even the defense attorney, who had just moments ago tried to dismiss her as uncertain, sat back in his chair, arms crossed, watching her carefully now. But who exactly was Sana? And how did she end up as the center of this high-profile case? Sana was the daughter of a retired schoolteacher, quiet, reserved, known more for her books than her voice. She had never been in trouble, never been involved in anything that could cause this level of attention. Yet, somehow, she had become the sole witness in a case involving a powerful man, Mr. Harun Malik, a businessman with deep pockets and deeper secrets. He stood accused of something serious. Though the details were being handled carefully to avoid public panic, what Sana had seen or heard was still unclear. Her name hadn't even been released to the media until today. The court had kept her identity hidden to protect her. But now, with the trial underway and the pressure mounting, she was forced to testify. And her whisper, as soft as it was, hinted at something the court wasn't ready to hear. The judge leaned back in his chair. "Repeat that," he said, more gently this time. But Sana didn't respond. She looked down, almost as if she regretted speaking at all. And just like that, the silence returned heavier than before. The judge tapped his pen softly against the bench, eyes fixed on Sana. The tension in the room had shifted less about the facts, more about what hadn't been said yet. Sana's whisper had triggered something, but no one knew exactly what it meant. The lawyers looked at each other, unsure how to proceed. The audience murmured quietly, trying to guess the meaning behind her words. Everyone wanted answers, but Sana just stood there silent, distant. Like her mind was somewhere else entirely. Behind her, in the gallery, her mother sat with her hands tightly folded, eyes wet but unblinking. She knew her daughter better than anyone, and she could tell something wasn't right. Sana had been different for weeks, quiet, anxious, avoiding even the simplest conversations. But she never told anyone why. Meanwhile, across the courtroom, Harun Malik sat calm and composed, surrounded by his team of expensive lawyers. His face gave nothing away. To the public, he was a respected businessman, known for charity and clean politics. But to those who looked closer, his connections ran deep into police departments, city councils, even media outlets. Few dared to question him. Until now, the prosecution had little physical evidence. No video, no phone recordings, only witness accounts. Sansanas was the most crucial. Her presence in that courtroom was a risk. Everyone knew the power Malik held. Rumors had already started. Threats, bribes, even attempts to delay the trial. But Sana had shown up. And what she said, though barely audible, was enough to make Malik's lawyer reach for his notes with a slightly trembling hand. Outside the courtroom, the media buzzed, reporters trying to piece together clues. Some wondered if Sana had discovered something by accident. Others believed she had been targeted long before she even knew it. But only one person truly knew the weight of her secret tand. She wasn't ready to speak again. Not yet. The air in the courtroom felt heavier now, like it was holding its breath, with everyone inside it. The judge gave Sana a few moments, hoping she would continue, but she stayed still. Her eyes weren't avoiding anyone, they were locked on Harun Malik. A quiet stare, but full of something deeper, fear. And maybe anger. The courtroom noticed. Whispers started spreading again through the seats. The reporters outside had caught wind of something big, and cameras now lined the hallway, waiting for a break. Inside, the prosecutor approached slowly, careful not to startle her. "Sana," he said gently, "you don't have to be afraid. Just tell the court what you meant." She didn't look at him. Her lips parted slightly, but no sound came. The defense lawyer stood. "Your Honor, if the witness cannot respond clearly, I request her statement be dismissed." But the judge raised his hand, silencing the room. "She will speak when she's ready," he said, his voice firm. "And I want the last 10 seconds of her testimony read back." The court clerk replayed the whisper. Just 7 words. But those 7 words had pulled the thread holding Malik's clean image together. It was something about a phone call late at night, a voice she recognized, and a meeting that wasn't supposed to happen. Behind the scenes, investigators were now rechecking phone logs. A name had come up that wasn't mentioned before. Someone close to Malik. Someone inside the system. Suddenly, the courtroom door opened quietly, and a woman entered. Tall, sharply dressed, and walking straight toward the prosecution bench. Number 1 expected her, especially not Sana. Their eyes met. Sana flinched. It was the woman from that night. The one who was never supposed to be seen. Sana's breath caught. The silence cracked into gasps. And for the first time, Harun Malik shifted in his seat. Sana's hands tightened around the edge of the witness stand. Her lips parted in shock. As the woman walked past the benches and whispered something to the prosecutor. It was short, quiet, just like Sana's earlier whisper. Whatever was said made the prosecutor's eyes widen. He looked at Sana, then at Harun Malik, and finally at the judge. "This is unexpected. Your Honor," the prosecutor said carefully, "we request a short recess. New information has just come to light." But the judge shook his head. "The witness is still under oath. We proceed." The woman stood at the edge of the courtroom, now silent and still, her presence unsettling. Sana finally spoke this time, louder, clearer. She was there. That night, the room stirred again. Even the stenographer paused for a heartbeat. Before catching up, Harun leaned forward, finally speaking. "This is ridiculous," he said coldly. "She's confused." "That woman doesn't even know she does know," Sana interrupted. voice trembling. She called you. You told her I wouldn't talk. You said I was scared. The woman didn't deny it. She simply looked at Haroon with cold, flat eyes, and then the second twist came. She reached into her purse not for a weapon, but for a flash drive. I didn't plan to come here, she said calmly, addressing the court for the first time. But I can't keep quiet anymore. This has recordings. A jolt rippled through the courtroom. The prosecutor stepped forward to take the drive, but the judge halted him. Are you willing to testify under oath? He asked. Yes, she said, but not to protect him. She glanced at Haroon and then at Sana. I wasn't the only one he called that night. Sana's face drained of color. She wasn't the only one. There was someone else. Someone closer. Someone still hidden. And suddenly, the truth felt more dangerous than ever. The courtroom was on edge, every eye shifting between Sana, the mystery woman, and Haroon Malik. The judge gave a quiet nod, signaling the bailiff to collect the flash drive. The court technician plugged it in, and seconds later, a recording filled the room with the sound of a call Haroon's voice. Unmistakably calm, calculated. You don't need to worry about her. She's scared. Quiet, like her mother used to be. Sana flinched. The courtroom gasped. Her mother sat frozen, her hands slowly rising to cover her mouth. The judge narrowed his eyes. Who is he talking about? Sana stood still for a moment, then turned around slowly, facing her mother. You knew, she whispered. Her mother didn't deny it. She looked at Sana, tears slipping down her face. I was trying to protect you. I didn't know how far he would go. Haroon shot up from his seat. This is insane. You can't use that recording. It's illegal surveillance. But it was.